everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you know me, you have learned recently that I have developed this love for plants, and I have been acquiring them for a couple of months now. And so I wanted to make an update video on my plants and talk to you how I care about them and how the lighting is important. Now, talking about lighting, I'm going to show you guys the entirely natural lighting of my plants, and this is about 3 p.m. right now in Chicago on a beautiful Monday afternoon. Okay, so if you know me at all, you'll know that I am a natural misfit and I go against the natural norms, or not natural norms, but I mark spring from March, April, and May. That's spring to me. June, July, August is summer. September, October, November is fall. December, January, February is winter. That is how I go. I don't go by what the Google calendar, whatever says. So this means that it is officially spring. Yay, guys. I love spring. It's my favorite season, and May is my favorite month. But I wanted to talk to you guys about my little plants here. So Sly is a very happy guy. He is getting a lot of indirect light throughout the day. It has got the south and west facing windows, and I water him when the soil is completely dry, because I'm just watching the leaves and they still feel nice and firm, and the soil, if you dig far enough, I can tell that it is still a little bit moist on the bottom. And so yeah, I only water him when he really needs it, when the soil is completely dry. And I am also using a very porous, highly drainable soil, and of course the pot has drainage holes on the bottom. So that is my Sly, the happy guy. Right here, the silver lace fern, I had to repot into a ceramic pot or porcelain pot, because when it was in a plastic pot, it would dry out constantly and I would have to water it pretty much every single day. The leaves would get extremely droopy. But ever since I repotted it into this pot and put it right here, just above Sly, which is getting a lot of indirect light also throughout the day, I see that it is starting to really perk up and be a little bit more evenly moist. So that is a good sign. I am really happy for the silver lace fern. I have told my mother about it and she absolutely loved it. So I will try to find out how in the future I can propagate this beautiful lady so I can give it to my mommy. Okay, so you may know this little lady, Sheena. I have decided to move her from my upstairs north-facing window to this downstairs south-facing window. But if you guys can see, all of my 3 south-facing windows are actually facing the brick of my neighbor's house. I love my neighbor, shout out to my neighbor, but the brick is covering a lot of the direct sunlight, but it is still peeking through up there. And so whichever plant hangs here, which is currently this golden pothos, is getting a lot of bright indirect light with some direct sunlight throughout the day, and it is doing really well. It is releasing a lot of new leaves, and so I just wanted to kind of switch it up and see how it's going to do here, because it's got a little bit more room right here behind to kind of branch out, whereas the plant that was hanging here before, that I will tell you guys all about soon, that one is now hanging in the south-facing window, and it's getting a little bit more area around it, so it can kind of, you know, dance, if you may, to the sun. Yeah, that was a little bit too much. But either way, here's my south-facing window, here is my golden pothos, and here is the natural lighting. I'm using my ring light as the tripod, but I am not actually using it with any light. So this is all natural, as my face as well, no makeup, but here it is. So in my kitchen, I have actually acquired recently a pilea plant. It's also known as the Chinese money plant, and there were two plants in one, so I have, of course, I have propagated it and divided it into two. One of these is hanging now in the kitchen south-facing window, which is getting so much direct sunlight, but because I have this film on my window, it's filtered in direct sunlight. This Pilea is loving it because I noticed in a matter of 2 days, yes, 2 days, it has released 2 new leaves. And so I'm really loving this one, and I'm hoping that it will just thrive in my kitchen window. So that was the lighting portion. But what about the soil? I have planted it in this plastic pot with drainage holes on the bottom and a saucer that came with it. It's very cute. In a well-draining soil. I like to err on the side of caution when it comes to soil because I tend to overwater sometimes, and my goal for this year is to not kill any of my plants by overwatering it or not providing it with the right lighting situation or fertilizing or over fertilizing too much. I will get to that portion a little bit later, I promise. I have actually killed my beautiful Sarah Ivy plant by fertilizing it in February like it had no business, and I used way too much. Going back to Pilea, she needs to be watered when she is dry, pretty much. So I have poured a lot of filtered water in it when I repotted it, and it has since been drying out and thriving. I'm also checking the leaves, how they feel. Are they droopy? Are they firm, nice and firm and thick, which they are? Then I know I'm doing something right. And of course, the right lighting situation. Since my last video, I have also acquired another succulent, and this one is Haworthia fasciata, also known as the zebra plant. I have repotted it into a terracotta pot with the drainage hole, of course, and well-drained soil with some pebbles on top. This window is facing east, so it's getting a lot of natural light, not too much indirect light during the day, and I water it, of course, only when the soil is dry, and I let it soak right through to the bottom, and it's really loving it here. A little tangent on Haworthia fasciata. Maybe I should turn the camera on me. How I remembered this name, it's because I used to have plantar fasciitis. And when I look at this plant, and when I look at the pain that I have experienced when I had plantar fasciitis, it really felt as though I was stepping on a plant like this. And I have cured it by one way only. I have tried so many different ways, and only one way worked. And you will never believe what it was. Yeah, it was Birkenstock shoes. The ugly, not so attractive Birkenstock shoes that gave me so much support for my arch that I needed. And within 3 months, my plantar fasciitis was cured, and I was the happiest person on earth and a lifelong customer of Birkenstock. We have arrived at my north-facing window, which is getting super duper amount of indirect light, but no direct sunlight throughout the day. And I have decided to put my Hartley Philodendron here to see how it's going to do. And I noticed within a matter, literally a couple of days, it started releasing a new leaf. So I think it is really loving it here, and it has a little bit more room around to kind of expand, if you know what I mean. And so that is why I decided to put my Hartley Philodendron in my north-facing window. As far as water and soil, pretty much the same formula that I follow for all my plants. Check the soil. I've also gotten a moisture meter, but I don't rely on it 100%. I check the soil with my fingers. I also check the leaves. I feel around and see if it needs watering or not. And once spring comes, I'm going to fertilize it and propagate it, and that'll be a project for another video. I'm going to keep it a secret for now, but once it arrives, you guys are going to love it. So Hartley Philodendron, north-facing window. This is just really quickly, you guys. In my bathroom, I have shown you that I have this medley growing in my last video, and I wanted to give you an update and show you that there are new leaves coming out very profusely, if I do say so myself. And I think the Sarah Ivy that I have managed to kill the mama plant by over-fertilizing is going to make it in this pot with her pothos and philodendron friends. Hey, so in my bedroom, ever since my last video, I have replaced the plant that was here, the Schefflera, with dumb cane, also known as, or I should say, Dieffenbachia, also known as the dumb cane, that I have gotten from my husband's grandma, who has grown these for years. So this is part of a plant that has grown for quite some time and has quite a legacy. So let's see if I can keep it alive and keep it growing beautiful. Ever since I got it, it has released this whole new leaf while it was propagating. So in water, by the way, because there's apparently there's two ways to propagate the Dieffenbachia: is air layering and water propagating. And so I water propagated this bad boy, and I have not named him yet, but it's doing well so far. I will give you an update in my next video. I think that this is slowly becoming my favorite room in the entire house. This is my spare bedroom. We have since started calling it a zen den because we like coming in here and chill with the plants. Since my last video, I have shown you guys this beautiful jade plant, and I have propagated this bad boy also. This one is a little 3-parter for my mom. When I see her next, I'm going to get this to her. She has an amazing south-facing window in her kitchen that gets so much sunlight, and all of her orchids and other plants are loving it there. And because this is a jade plant, and jade plants love direct sunlight and a well-draining soil, and of course the terracotta pot that will absorb all that moisture, it is going to thrive in my mom's house. That I know for sure. The one that I'm keeping for myself is this huge one. I have gotten a somewhat of a large, I believe this is an 8-inch terracotta pot, and planted also a 3-parter in here. And ever since my last video, this bad boy has grown as well. The leaves are very thick. They still are keeping their little burgundy outline, which means that they're getting enough sunlight. Same with the soil. I only water it when it's completely bone dry. And I wanted to show you guys also that I have gotten a moisture meter. Okay, this is like just a standard moisture meter, and I inserted it into my plants, and it should show me the reading. Okay, so this one is starting to read that it is a level 3 on the dry side. So that will tell me that it is not yet completely bone dry, which means that I can easily wait a little bit longer before I water it. But not to be completely reliable on this moisture meter, I will also, of course, insert my fingers as deep as I can because I have short fingers, and see if the soil is in fact dry, or is it still retaining some moisture on the bottom, since the pot is a bit longer now. So we will keep an eye on this one, and we'll see how it's going to do. I also have some leaves that have some of them have fallen off, some of them I have pulled off in order to propagate the other jade plants. One I already gave to my sister. She was very happy with it, found a perfect spot for it. This I had to cut off from my mom's plant right here because it was interfering with the growth. So I'm also going to propagate it and start a new plant from that. My aloe vera is doing amazing. I have also since brought it up here into the brightest room. It was in my kitchen previously, but ever since I brought it here, it blew up. It's just, look at this, the size of this is amazing. But I have also planted it in a bigger, I think it's a 6-inch terracotta pot, and placed it right at the window. It's loving it here. I wait until the soil is completely dry before I water it. Pretty much like with all succulents and cacti plants. But the ones that I am super excited to show you are these two babies of mine. Those are string of bananas. They're string of bananas. And one of them is a little bit more sparse up top, but it's starting to vine down. And the one that I got a couple of days ago is extremely dense on top, and I'm hoping that it will produce a lot of new growth, and that will bring forth the vines to start to come down. One of these is gonna go to my mom as well, because when she saw them, she absolutely fell in love. And the love that I have for my plants is actually from my mom. So it would only be fitting that me and her would share plants, or the love of plants, with each other. It's kind of our little thing. And I have also started sharing that love with my own daughter, who is 13 years old, and she has since shown a little bit of interest in plants, which makes Mama Bear very, very happy. This one is also the one that I want to show you, that I'm extremely excited about, because I personally have not seen a fern like this before. It is called an autumn fern, and this autumn fern has very kind of a brown copperish leaves to it. And I got it a couple of days ago, and I was extremely tempted to repot it, so I did, and I repotted it from this tiny little guy to this 4-inch pot. I think it's 4-inch. I don't know, maybe it's like 3-inch or something. Oh no, it's probably bigger. I have no idea what size these pots are. I'm still trying to figure them out without trying to, you know, tape measure and all of that. But fern, autumn fern. I don't know exactly how it's going to do, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to place it yet, because the label said medium light. And if I know anything about ferns, they like lower indirect light, lower-ish indirect light. So I'm not sure exactly where to place this one. It's kind of hanging out with these guys, but I'm making sure that I move him or her away from the actual direct sunlight. So it's kind of always hiding behind a pot where it's kind of bright, but not overly stimulating amount of light. Right here, you guys, I just have a little project going. I will not get into it just yet, but this is a Schefflera I'm propagating, and we'll see what happens with that. I think this is it for this room. I'm going to go and ask if my child, my daughter, will allow me to film in her room, so I can give you an update on the aloe vera and the other pilea plant that I have. So let's go ask if my child will let me do that. Okay, so I have gotten the consent from my daughter to film in her room, and this is the infamous aloe vera that was hanging actually right below here previously, right at the staircase. But it has grown, you guys. It has really grown, so I'm proud of it. And this is the east facing. Both of these are east facing windows, so it's doing really well. And this bad boy right here is, of course, the pilea that I had propagated from the other mama plant. So yeah, it's doing really, really well. And here is the a closer shot of the climbing aloe vera. We just watered it yesterday, so the soil is rather moist. And lastly, but surely not leastly, the newest addition to my plant family is this beautiful Scindapsus pictus, also known as the silver pothos. So it came in a little grower pot, and of course I have repotted it since, not for the purpose of this video, but for the purpose of kind of just general relaxation. I like to play in plants. And so this little guy I have potted in a plastic pot with drainage holes, but of course probably one day it'll make itself way to a bigger pot. And I decided to put it right here in my west facing living room window, where it'll get some indirect sunlight throughout the day, as well as a little bit of a filtered direct sunlight. And that is all, my friends, my beautiful plant-loving people, my friends, my comrades, whatever you may. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this video. I hope you enjoyed this update, and as much as I enjoy making plant videos, and it's kind of weird because I didn't know what my niche was, and I don't know, it could be plants. I am loving my new hobby, and I love making videos about my new hobby, which is the love of plants. And I thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe down below. And I invite you to keep watching out for those plant videos, because they are coming. Spring is here and they are coming. And I thank you so much for sticking with me.